Hello to everyone and welcome to our webinar. Today we talk about Oracle AI services and we have an extended session of 2 hours. So you will see a lot of demos. We're happy to announce that we have Cristina Lemnaru, Juan Carlos Gonzalez Carrero, Prabhakar Lingulita, and Sunita Varghese as your speakers and your guided tours for this session. Bear in mind that the structure of today's call is the following. So we start with session 1, which will be presented by Juan and Cristina. They will start with a short presentation and we'll show you how to develop applications with Oracle Generative AI Document Understanding and Integration Cloud. And they will do a demo on CV evaluation app as part of the recruitment process. Then this will take about 50 minutes. Then we have a dedicated Q&A part after this first session. Then we do like a 10 minutes break. And then we have Prabhakar and Sunita as your speakers for the part 2. And they will talk about integrate OCI AI speech service and generative AI summarization in Visual Builder. And this is Prabhakar, and then Sunita will do a presentation and a demo on how to describe an image using OCI AI Vision and generative AI services. I think that was all on my side. Juan, Cristina, over to you.
Hello. Hi, guys.
Guys.
So I will start sharing my screen. Thanks, Violeta, for introduction. So yeah, together with Juan, we will talk about how you can actually build a low-code application with Generative AI, Document Understanding, and Integration Cloud. I will start sharing my screen. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Yeah. Here we go. So, first of all, I will let you to just read a little bit the statement. And exactly as Violeta said, all the information that we are exposing in this session, it's completely dummy. So we invented the persons, the companies, everything. So there is no real data used for our use cases. So first of all, let's talk a little bit the use case. So document evaluation app, this is how we called it. You know that in our company, in a company, there are a lot of flows and a lot of use cases when the documents should be sorted, evaluated, and usually this takes a lot of time. So basically, traditional methods, they are often not efficient because they are paper-based. And of course, the result, in order to get a nice result, it's pretty complicated and takes a lot of time. Then definitely there is a risk of human error. So it doesn't matter. It's okay when, for example, you are evaluating 3 documents or 3 CVs or so on, but what happens when you have 500, for example? So this is where it comes, the document evaluation app, and it has few benefits. Like, first of all, it may be very efficient in your organization. Definitely it can reduce time. It's very adaptable. So think that what we will show you today, it's basically a template that can be adapted to any use case that you may have in your organization. And definitely there is a point of scalability, so you can scale it depending on your architecture, your organization. So it is really from one simple app, you can build it and integrate it in many other solutions as well. So what I said about adaptability is that think of end use cases. Think of an CV evaluation app as part of a recruitment process where actually just by clicking a few buttons, a recruiter may select the best candidate for a specific job, taking in consideration that CVs currently are not in the same format. Okay, they can be in multiple formats. In the same way, think of um, uh, think of a use case where basically we need to select some candidates or some vendors into a specific use case or into a specific bid. And also you have your specific criteria, how you would select that the best, let's say the best vendors for your solution. And these are only two use cases, but they are N. You can evaluate and think of your own use case. What you would, how you would exactly want to evaluate on or to filter. Today we will focus on CV evaluation app. We'll take it as a case study, okay? Because we want to share with you the code. We want you to see exactly the impact of each product in the solution and how exactly it was built. The code for this solution is already available on GitHub, and we will come later to this. So think of a very, very simple app, which has three actions. The first action, think that I will act as evaluator, okay? Simple, the evaluator uploads the proposals. You can drag and drop, let's say, how many you have. Then the evaluator will select the hard criteria and soft criteria. Why we have hard and soft criteria? So imagine in real life, some points mentioned in a CV, they are more important than others. For example, if you are looking for someone who is really passionate about what is he is doing, but the problem is that on CV he mentioned that he doesn't live in a specific country. So definitely, if that person, if that's an important requirement for your organization, then definitely that person will not be a good fit. So this is why we separated hard criteria from soft criteria, and you can play with them. And definitely after setting up the soft criteria and hard criteria, here the evaluation process starts. And we will talk more in deep about this specific flow. So here we have the blocks of the flow. So let's start from the left. We have the user who basically uploads via Visual Builder the image that you just seen. We'll upload the CVs, we'll set the criteria and so on. So basically we are capturing the CVs from the UI. Then what we are doing, we are sending them to document understanding, okay? And what we are doing there, it's basically using document understanding, we are extracting the data from the CVs. As I mentioned before, CVs can be in multiple formats, okay? And imagine your documents can be pictures, they can be scans, they can be words, they can Word documents, they can be emails in any way. Then from this block, we are pasting the data to the second block, which is actually our query engine. We're use generative AI for, in our case, CV summarization and key criteria extraction. And then with the response from the prompt, we are calling another generative AI prompt in order to do the evaluation. And you know what? This is actually how the multi-chain LLM prompting is working. Because from the result from the first prompt, we are using it as an input for the second prompt. And then the results go back to UI. I will demonstrate it to you now. So you will see the app. Let me just stop. Okay, let's move to the app directly. Here we are. Let me just to be sure that the session didn't expire. Okay. Yeah. So this is my app. I will drag and drop some CVs from my computer. I have here a few candidates. I will just, okay, let me just drag and drop them here like this. You see, I have now the CVs uploaded. Then I will set some hard criteria. Here I have two lists. I can pick from Spanish. The location will keep USA. I will put some soft criteria, let's say SQL, and work experience, something around 6 years. And now, the only thing I need to do is just to hit the button evaluate. And what's happening now? The evaluation starts, and you will see a transient message here. They are coming because we are doing we are let's checking the CVs one by one. But imagine actually, Juan, how that would be in real life, how that would be in production.
Yeah. So the idea here is we're getting all the CVs one by one and processing them sequentially for the purpose of the demo. But let's say for something more production ready, the idea would be to, upload a zip file, and then we send this to Oracle Integration Cloud, which is the LLM orchestrator or the business flow orchestrator. And then what we can do is just store each file in a bucket in object storage, and then let's say triggering different flows in parallel for each candidate, where we apply this high level flow that Christina was saying. So for each candidate, we will run that flow, but all of them are going to be run in parallel. So the way we can parallelize the processing is combining Oracle integration with the streaming or Kafka, our Oracle managed Kafka service. And I will explain what the production ready high level architecture would be in some slides further. But just to say that, that's the way we can parallelize the processing, and even the results, we can store them in a staging database or store, and then you can provide this kind of result list. So back to you, Christina.
Exactly. Thanks, Juan. Yeah. So this is how exactly the results are coming. We see a list of our candidates, which some of them are no fit, and others are good fit. What you can do here, instead of only seeing the results, there you can definitely check the summary. We think that it's really important because even if we are, there should be a reason always why this person is a good fit. So this is why you see that, for example, you remember that I've put the soft skill to be SQL. This is mentioned in my summary. And also he knows Spanish. So that's important for me. Okay. The same way I can see that why a specific candidate was no fit. The same. Yeah. So this is our app. Now we will go straight into the insights. So I will let my colleague Juan, and he will explain you how exactly this application was built, and we will talk later about prompt. So over to you, Juan.
Thank you. Can you see my screen? Yep.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So thank you guys for joining this session. So what I'm gonna do right now is just to explain how the solution was built, okay? So first, as I mentioned before, this is what the high-level architecture for, a document evaluation app would look like. So in case of the CV evaluation, I mean, those CVs, as Christina said, could come either, I don't know, from LinkedIn, for instance, social media channels. It could come from an external in-house web application that you have. It can come from a content management system, from an FTP server or file server. It can come from a third-party cloud storage like AWS S3, Google Cloud Storage, or Azure Storage, or even it could come from a recruitment application as well. So the idea is that with Oracle Integration Cloud, which is our LLM orchestrator or our business flow orchestrator, we have native connectors in Oracle Integration Cloud to different social media, productivity, and business data channels. So the idea is that we could extract, or let's say pick up those CVs either in real time or in near real time, and then let's say storing them in object storage, and then that will trigger different flows where we can either use document understanding, maybe for CVs which are PDFs or even images with text, or we could use AI vision. I didn't put it here, but we could use vision for annotations on an image. I mean, the CVs can come in different formats. So the idea is that once we have those CVs extracted or that data extracted, then and that's the document and image and business data loader, is where we extract, we process the data, and after that we will receive like a JSON result file that we will pass to a second flow, which is the query engine flow, where we basically do the different calls or orchestration of the LLM. So we will first and what you were seeing while it was processing, we called the Generative AI API to get the summary of the CV together with the relevant data extraction, and this is going to be done, or it's done via prompting techniques, which Christina is going to talk in a couple of minutes. And after we have this first let's say step, then we have the second step of the multi-chain prompting flow, where we pass the result of this, like with the key criteria extracted in a proper way, and we pass it to the another call, or we call twice the Generative AI Service API for a prompting, which is basically handling the decision matrix or the evaluation logic. And here we are saying that we are helping recruiters to improvise, or let's say to help recruiters to get the best candidate that fits into a job criteria, right? I mean, it's not that we are delegating the decision to Generative AI. We're saying that this is like a recommendation engine for the recruiter to help making the best decision. Okay. And finally, what I was saying is that in the demo, you will see that we are not using, or we are not parallelizing the processing of the CVs, but for a production ready solution, we could, upload that zip file, debatch the zip file, store them each CV here, and then we will trigger like parallel flows at the same time, each for each candidate, doing like the extraction, the evaluation, the summarization, the extraction of the key criteria, and the evaluation, and the results could be staged in a staging database or a store that then you can the UI can let's say query, and then you will have like an async approach. This is the way, let's say, we could scale this solution. So again, for the purpose of this demo, and as Christina explained, what we are doing here is basically like uploading the file, getting each file sequentially, put it in object storage, triggering the job for extracting the data. Then after getting the data, we are passing to the second flow, which is gonna summarize, extract the relevant data, and then doing the evaluation. Okay? So let's deep dive on each layer or each module of the solution. So first, we have Oracle Visual Builder as part of Oracle Integration Cloud for the user interaction. So let me go directly into Visual Builder. So here, let me see. Yeah. So here, where we have an event associated with the file picker. So basically, the event is gonna trigger a chain where we are basically, like reading the image, getting the blob URL, like a local URL for the image. So then, I don't know if you noticed that Christina was able to visualize the PDFs here. So we are doing that chain, that file picker chain, just to get the URL. And the way we are getting the URL is calling a function here that is basically getting the file, or the different files that we have, and just getting the blob URL, so we can let's say, render and visualize it here as an iframe, basically. And then once the recruiter clicks on the evaluate button, what we are doing is triggering an event that is a button action event that triggers this chain or this flow where we are basically calling the Oracle Integration Cloud REST API, which is gonna receive the file and is gonna do, you know, all the extraction and all of that. So previously here in connections, sorry, we have this integration. Actually, if I want to create a new connection, we will see from the catalog of integration the different integrations that I have on the list, you know, so I can here see all my integrations. So that was the way, you know, we let's say we define the definition of the request and response for the get matched CVs flow. So that's basically at a very high level how we are doing, you know, like the evaluation part and all of that. And then we have a result page here. You are not seeing anything because I have not uploading any file, but here we will, let's say, display the results, and here what we have is just a OJ list component or a visual component as a list where we are, you know, just storing the result, and we have like a pop-up OJ pop-up component that was the summary that you were able to see from each candidate, right? So that's, you know, at a very high level how we are you know, doing or enabling or set up this visual application with a low code approach, if you see. So then let me go back, sorry, let me go back to integration. Oh, sorry. So let's see what the flow is. So if we see what we have here at a high level is two flows. This is the parent flow, the low code integration flow in Oracle integration, which I call it like the query engine flow. And the first part, before doing the, you know, like the summarization and the extraction of the key criteria from the CV and then the evaluation, what we are doing is calling a child integration, which does the extraction part. So what we are doing is basically receiving the file, right, together with the hard criteria and soft criteria parameters. And then we're passing that to a child integration that is called the data loader integration flow, where we basically, you know, put that file into object storage, into a bucket. Then we trigger the job. This is an async flow from Oracle document understanding, which is gonna do, you know, all the extraction. And after that, you know, we retrieve the extraction back to Visual Builder. So how does the extraction is being done? So here I have document understanding, and what we are doing basically, it's updating some data. So let me just do something. I will get the CVs and I will select them from here. I will drop it, sorry, I will drop them here. There we go. Sorry for the inconvenient. And I need this. Okay, so this is like Alex Young candidate, like a fake CV that we have. And if you see, this is the way we are extracting the data. So we are using the OCR capability in the pre-trained text extraction model. So you can see that we can read, you know, like in this case, the format of the CV is just, you know, like text. If we have tables or something like that, we could use table extraction. And if it's something more complex or very specific, we can create our own custom models in document understanding. Okay, so you will see that basically we can read each line, and then we are appending that as a text separated by the new line symbol, and that's what basically we are passing to the second step. That is basically the summarization part and the evaluation part. So how are we connecting to generative AI? So we are connecting to generative AI using its API. So this is a generic, actually, this is a URL that you can see in the documentation of the generative AI API. Basically, here you just have to provide the URL, like the base URL of the service. And here the way we, let's say, secure this connection is using OCI signature v1. This specific way of like a local way of securing this connection, it's let's say native from Oracle integration, so we can connect natively and securely to our own, let's say, AI services using this kind of signature v1. So you just have to provide your tenancy, Oracle Cloud ID identifier, your technical user or your user OC ID. Obviously, in a production, let's say in a production environment, you should use like a technical user and not an employee user, right, for your integrations. And you have to provide an API key that is basically, generated directly from the OCI portal. And what I'm talking about here is that you can basically go here to your profile, sorry, to my profile, and then you can generate your own API keys, right? So that's the way you would use that, right? So coming back to this, let's see how I'm calling the first generative AI API to summarize the CV and to extract the key criteria. So really fast, let me show you that. So here I have Oracle Integration Cloud. So here I have, so again, this is the main flow that is calling this shell integration to extract the data. And then here, after this step, we are doing like the evaluation part. So the first part is receiving the CV and the different files from Visual Builder, staging the file, extracting the data, like calling the second flow that I show you, that is using the document understanding API. And then what we are doing here, I'm just, like as we extract the CV information line by line, here I'm just appending, and concatenating the lines with the new line symbol or character. And then that's what I'm passing to the summarization, let's say, step. So here, this is just drag and dropping the connection that I showed you before. And you just have to provide the resource or the relative path. In this case, this is, like the path, like actions generate. We're using the generate text action. And this is a post action, and I configure this that we need a request and a response. Those request, response, all these details, you can see it in oracle.com/generative AI. And here the request is mainly like a JSON where we have like an inference request, and here we have, like a run type, like cohere, prompt, the prompt itself, how many tokens we are using, the temperature, and the frequency penalty, different, let's say, parameters. And the model, in this case, I'm using the cohere command model, the last one, 15.6. And the compartment ID, this is a fake compartment. So this is just a sample for the Oracle integration flow. So Oracle integration understands that. And after that, we just defining the response, and the response is, like, a JSON file and JSON payload, which has the generated text. So you will have like an ID for the generated text and the text itself, right? And that's mainly, let's say, how we are calling the different CVs. Now you will see that, for instance, for the prompt, and Christina is going to explain that, but for the prompt we are just, you know, like setting the string. Obviously this could be, you know, put in a lookup, Oracle integration lookup, like a parameter that you can then, you know, just update from a UI, right, in Visual Builder, for instance. So the prompt is basically, you know, like getting all the parameters dynamically and then just providing that to the Generative AI API. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. So then Christina is gonna explain the different prompting techniques that we used in these Oracle integration flows and in this document evaluation, CV evaluation app. So back to you, Christina.
Thanks a lot, Juan. Yeah, so basically we have tried a lot of prompting techniques. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Let me go back. Yeah. Just a second. Give me 1 second, please. Here we are. As I've explained you before, there are 2 prompts here. We have used it, first of all, we have used a pattern, which is multi-chain LLM prompting. Because we can't get all the information just in one prompt, this is why this approach helps you basically to get information in multiple steps, I would say that. And we have here 2 prompts. So we are calling twice generative AI in our case. For the first prompt, we have used a technique which is called zero-shot prompting. So it's the easiest one, I would say. Basically, we need only to set our instructions and to specify how we would want to receive the responses. And in our case, I will show you exactly in the Generative AI playground. Basically, it's the place where you can play with the Generative AI, test your prompts, play with parameters, because I want to show you exactly how how the results will come if you try a specific prompt. So let's take the first one. First of all, we have this CV. Okay, a invented guy, which is called Michael Thompson. In our first prompt, exactly as Juan explained you before, so what we are doing, it's just we are extracting the candidate data, the candidate criteria, based on the criteria which were set from the interface. So in our case, let me just get the prompt, and I will put it straight away in the playground like this. So what we'll do, actually, we have some instructions to extract the candidate full name, the evaluation criteria, which in our case, you have seen that there are location, languages known, and there are skills and work experience. So let me just copy this CV, this candidate data, and I will replace it here. Let me explain you a little bit about the prompt. So here, it's very important, and this is what we want to say, how you will create your prompt. Because if you will just type some instructions, you will not get the right results. But if you explain in your prompt, step by step, what you want to achieve, and this is actually a technique, this zero prompt technique, it's definitely for working with all of the LLMs. So look a little bit at our prompt. It consists of the main basically requirement. Basically, we need to extract the candidate data on the provided below evaluation criteria. Here will be our CV summary, which is coming exactly as Juan explained. This data is coming dynamically from document understanding. Will come from document understanding. And here we have the instructions, another section which is called instructions. And here, one by one, we're explaining what we want to achieve. And definitely, we want a response in a specific format. So look how we explained here, that the response should consist of candidate, because we need the candidate full name in order to show it in the second screen, if you remember here. Then we need the extracted hard criteria and soft criteria, because we need it for the second evaluation prompt. And the CV summary that you have also seen that we have used it here. Okay, so this is our first prompt. We will play a little bit with the parameters. So we will set the tokens at, we will need, it's sufficient. We don't need a long response. So we will set the maximum output tokens to 230. And the temperature, it shouldn't be so high. So in order to avoid hallucination, we will put just 0.5. Okay, and let's generate it. You see how nicely it came. So in this way, it's very important to mention that the way you will structure the response, it will be easier for you then to process the data. Doesn't matter. So basically, it's very important to structure your responses. And now what I will do, I will just copy this information for now, because I will use it in my second prompt. Let's just paste it here for now. So this is the first prompt. Then we are using another technique for our second prompt. So let me recap. So the first prompt was only to extract the candidate data and to create a summary of the CV. The second prompt we will use for evaluation. And here we have used a technique which is, let's say, not so, which is called chain of thought prompting. So basically, instead of only creating the instructions or specifying the instructions one by one in the prompt, we need to train or to explain to the LLM how exactly we want to, based on some use cases, how we want to receive the response. So let me show it to you. Let me just clear everything I have. And let's move to the second prompt. We don't need anymore the CV, because for the second prompt, we already have all the data we need. As you have seen, for the second prompt, I'm using only the extracted criteria. I don't need anymore. The summary will be saved into a variable and will be displayed on the screen. So we don't need anymore. Now we have the prompt, the second prompt, which is a little bit bigger. You will see, like this. And I will explain you step by step. Let me just go back. In the second prompt, we also have the main requirement, but here we don't have just, let's say, divided it in instructions, result, and data. Here we have more blocks. So our instruction looks the following. So we ask it, LLM to evaluate job criteria against candidate data based on decision logic and evaluation examples to be able to give a short, concise answer. And for that, because we wanted just to receive only this, we want to receive only good fit and no fit. What we will do is we will set the maximum tokens to 50. That's it. And the temperature also will keep low, 0.5. And look, here in our prompt, we have, it's, as I said, it's more complex. We have the decision logic. So exactly as we said before, LLM is helping us, but it's not replacing a human action. So we need to specify exactly in a narrative manner how we want to receive the responses. So in our case, if none of the hard criteria, this is how, let's say, we have decided that for our specific use case, the hard criteria, if none of the hard criteria are met, then the candidate is definitely a no fit. Even if only one hard criteria is met, then again, this is not the candidate is not a fit. But if the hard criteria, but only if the both hard criteria and the soft criteria are exactly the same as the criteria set by evaluator, then only in that situation the candidate will be a good fit. And here the interesting part comes. We are explaining to the LLM that in some examples where, for example, the hard criteria is Spain and the language speak is Spanish, soft criteria are like SQL and more than 6 in total. If we would have a candidate which is Carlos Rodriguez, okay, it can be anything, and with coming with this hard criteria, then in this case, the response will be a good fit. So we are giving this, basically we are training in this way the LLM to understand our context, why we need to evaluate and what is the point with that criteria. Okay, so we explaining, not only giving the response good fit, but we are explaining why this person may be a good fit. And we have set it here 3 examples of users. But in the last part here, we have the job criteria data. Basically, what we have, basically the place, the language, the skill, and the years, they will come dynamically from the front end. Okay, so these are variables. Okay, and also the variable we have here, another variable which is candidate extracted data, which we will replace now with our result from the first prompt, which is this one. Okay, let me put it just like this. And then if you see here, after like in the last example, here we are expecting from each of the examples that we have put it here, we have here a response and 2 dots with the definitely the response of the use case of the example. So what we are expecting in our case is just to send the hard criteria and soft criteria, and we are expecting the response from the LLM. That's it. And now let's try to see how would be the response. You see, it came as a good fit. Why? Because our criteria were the following. These are from the recruiter perspective. He said that location USA, Spanish, SQL, and 7 years. And now let's look at the candidate data. Some hard criteria as location. He meets also the language. Skills, he has SQL, definitely, and work experience in 7 years. But let's do the following. Let's just change the location to Romania, for example. Let's see what would happen. You see, the candidate is no fit. And why it is no fit in our case? Because it doesn't meet the location criteria. Do you remember this? Decision logic block. We specified if one of them is not matched, then the candidate is no fit. And this is the entire magic happening with the prompt. So we recommend to try in your working with LLMs, multiple techniques. In our evaluation use case, we found that these 2 techniques, which are definitely zero-shot prompting and chain of thought, they are the best techniques in our situations. But in your situations, they may be others. So, by the way, everything what we have shown you today is available on our GitHub page. In our technology engineering GitHub page, here under the generative AI service, you can download all the entire use case that we have, the entire case study that we have talked about today. Okay. And definitely more than that, we have some more resources for you, which is basically our AI Solution Hub, where you are able to see a lot of demo videos covering a lot of AI use cases. You have some getting started points and source as well, and as well tutorials. So please save this link, and the previous one, because we are constantly updating the data there. Yeah, so I think this is pretty all. Juan, let's check a little bit the questions.
Yeah, let me answer some of them. So the first one, it's saying that if it's an official doc where they can check supported languages for every AI services that we have, generative AI. Yeah, I mean, he's asking for Spanish supported. So let me just show you this really fast. Give me 1 second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep. Yes, all good.
Oh, for instance, let's say for document understanding, right now officially documented, we support English for most of the models, but let's say here, for instance, right now we have something that we can launch for customers that is a beta program for document understanding, where we are supporting Spanish and Portuguese as part of this custom model. So here I'm in my tenancy and I have already, I'm whitelisted for that. If you try to do a key value extraction model where, I don't know, you want to parse, let's say, an Spanish invoice or something like that, you see that here you can choose not only from English but also Spanish and Portuguese. This is not documented yet because this is part of the beta program, not even before low availability. But we can say that, let's say in this year or in the coming months, we should this will be moved to low availability, and then it will move again after certain time to general availability. So for now, if you want to start doing this as partners, as customers, you can subscribe or try to apply to the beta program for document understanding, where we have this kind of languages supported for let's say custom models. And for instance, for text extraction, right now we can we're supporting in this beta program more languages as well for only text extraction. So for the different, let's say, pre-trained models, we support certain languages. For now it would say English in the public documentation, but yeah, in the beta program you can have Spanish and Portuguese, at least for the key value extraction model, as well as the text extraction model. So I don't know if that answers the question, David, I guess.
We have another interesting question. What is the maximum number of tokens in input and output in cloud LLM for generative AI? And let me share my screen. Okay. Here we go. So for pre-trained foundational models in generative AI, because there are a couple of them, the maximum token limit for now, it's maximum 4,096 tokens. This is for the input. And for the output, currently, this is 4,000. Yeah, so that's another question.
Okay.
It is another interesting question. Someone is asking if it's possible to develop in Oracle Apex with generative AI?
Actually, remember, let me just share my screen again really fast. I just want to share this directly with you guys. So can you see my screen, the architecture?
Yep.
Yeah. So effectively, the idea of this high-level architecture, and even Violeta is going to share with you a reference architecture of what we call the low-code and modular LLM app engine with Oracle integration and these AI services, where obviously in this session that we have just presented, we showcase the UI with Visual Builder, but instead of Visual Builder, you could have here Apex, and then you will rely on Oracle integration just to pick up the CVs from different sources, and then within Apex, then you can do like the magic that you can do in Apex. So yeah, you can combine Oracle integration with Apex and all these AI services. So in this case, the knowledge search engine UI would be through an Apex application. And again, if you have your own web application, imagine React, Angular, or some kind of UI framework that you use, then it will be feasible, because in the end, this is the LLM low-code and modular LLM app engine with Oracle integration, where we have the data loader block and the query engine block. So hopefully that answers the question as well. Can you please let us know what if the customer's tenancy is not based out of Chicago Center and OCI Generated Services is unavailable in the current data centers? Okay, so again, let me show you as well. I mean, your tenant is associated with a home region, right? And you are already subscribed to it. But that doesn't mean that you cannot subscribe to other regions. So in this case, for instance, I'm subscribed to the Chicago region, and I can have that and go to generative AI, and you can use generative AI as well. So it doesn't, if your home region is different from Chicago, that doesn't mean for now that you cannot use generative AI. I mean, in upcoming releases or in the future, we will have general availability for generative AI in other regions. For now, yeah, it's in Chicago, but that doesn't mean, again, that you cannot use generative AI and you cannot subscribe to a region different than the home one. So
even in our that we have showed you now today, we are using generative AI from Chicago region, and
yeah, exactly.
Other resources other resources are all in
Frankfurt.
I think, yeah, in Frankfurt.
Exactly. And there's another one. So when I will use Oracle Services LLM Rack, the maximum is 4K tokens. There is no way to get more? Christina?
Yeah, so basically for now, this is the limit of tokens that you can use. But definitely we are expecting from the our product management to come with news and say and tell us when they will increase the limit. Definitely we will come with an update, and you will be able to see on your site
yeah,
if the limit will be, it will definitely be increased.
Yeah. So another one is Dynamic Skills also uses the Cohere LLM. Is this same model referenced in the demo, or are they separate Cohere LLMs? So I think you are seeing my screen, right?
Yes, definitely.
So here, I mean, for generation, we have Cohere Command, another light model that is Cohere Command Lite. It's a little bit, like, let's say, faster, but less accurate than the generic one. We have a Llama 2, a 70B chat model as well, more for follow-up questions and all that, more conversational. For generation, also for summarization, we have cohere command as well. And for embedding, we have the one of the, I think, considered as the top two, according to Jama Index, cohere embed multilingual v3. That is actually pretty good. And actually, we have done many other demos that we have use even multilingual embedding for, like, I don't know, your documents are indexed in Spanish and you want to ask questions in French. So we can combine this with AI language translation, and we can support, let's say, multilingual racks and all of that. So that's, let's say, the way. If you want to use, let's say, a model different from this one, then you can go, with the data science service that we have, where you can use, to deploy your own, I don't know, ADA or something, OpenAI model, if you want. But here, this is, let's say, like generative AI as a service. So it's a PaaS service in this case. The other one is more like deploying something and then exposing as an API. So hopefully that answers the question as well. What else?
Yeah, we have another question. If there is a knowledge repository available for these services, and the response is definitely yes. So everything and all our services are documented, and the documentation for all of our services, and not only the AI services, is publicly available under docs.oracle.com. So here, for every and for each service that we have, each product Oracle has, you can find the relevant documentation for it. And there you can find the details like all the languages are supported, what are the limitations of the services. Also, you can find some examples, also the REST APIs catalogs for each of the service. So everything is it's publicly available. Yeah, just under docs.oracle.com. Just if you will search on Google, definitely the first page of responses, it will come from docs.oracle.com. So yeah, just keep in mind that.
All right. I think it's time for a little break. Thank you, Juan and Christina, for this great demo and the presentation. Thank you for answering all the questions. Almost all. I see that people are still submitting questions, but please bear in mind for the ones that we couldn't touch, we will follow up with you on Slack, because conscious about the time, we still need to run the second session, and we still have to share two demos and two presentations. So let's have a 5 minutes break, and then we come back with the part two. And we will talk, for the ones who maybe joined us late, we will talk about how to integrate OCI AI speech service and generative AI summarization in Visual Builder. Prabhakar will do this presentation for you, and then Sunita will showcase how to generate image description with OCI Vision service, OCI Gen AI services, and integration cloud. So see you in 5 minutes.
See you guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye. Prabhakar, over to you.
Thank you, Yo. Welcome to the session. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you are. We'll be talking about more on the Visual Builder application and the AI services. How are we going to use those features over here? Let me share my screen. Yeah, thank you once again. We are understanding how why AI, OCI speech services and generative AI summarization. These are the services how we are going to use in the Visual Builder application. Okay, this is kind of presentation we are going to walk through here. We could understand any industry looking at, especially the call center industry or education industry. So they are day to day, okay, talk more on on the various kind of interactions over there. Okay, so when you look at the education industry, the trainers are talking about various topics, and students would like to having their own kind of transcribed text. Okay, so what the trainer is talking about, and what is the kind of topics he talked about, so these kind of understandings, if the students wanted to more understand about that, then okay, we have the AI speech service is available. And looking at the call center, this is industry. When the customer calls the call center, and between the agent and the customer, okay, so we'll have a lot of discussions happens about the so and so product, or any kind of issue over there. So all these basically it's recorded, but would like to transcribe it, so how it is basically okay, it is possible. Then we could use the Oracle AI speech service. Okay, it is a solution around. And how are we going to use that, how it is going to be helpful, we'll be looking at more on further slides here. So not only these two industries, we can look at n number of industries around whatever they mentioned here. Okay. So what is that? We are offering in Oracle Cloud ecosystem. Okay, these are all the AI services are available. Okay, so mainly Oracle AI speech service, language, vision, document understanding, like how our colleagues is explained before about that. Okay, so primarily I am focusing today on the speech and the generative AI. Okay, these are the two areas where we're focusing here. So looking at here, okay, so what is the speech does here? So speech service basically, okay, it takes the audio or the video file, okay, and it produces accurate level of transcription. So that's human speech. Talk about that one. So it is basically, if you could see, when you are providing the audio file, okay, and it is translating into the text over here. Okay, so this is the kind of feature available. So what all we could see, okay, on the speech around, okay, so there would be automatically transcribe audio and video files. Okay, so we can talk about what would be the limitations when we're using the okay size, okay, the audios and videos files also, and also the maximum duration of the files. Okay, all these basically I can show the information okay later. There are different features also. We could see the time stamped transcription. This is very much helpful. Okay, what kind of duration okay it is okay converted. Okay, and the multilingual support, this is very much helpful, translation into one language to another language. Okay, these are all the kind of features are available when you would like to use that. Okay, we could understand more capabilities around so these are okay, we could say the accurate transcriptions. Basically it applies on the kind of audios and videos which are provided. And the text normalizations, okay, it provides a text normalization for numbers and addresses, currencies, and so on. The time stamped JSON, this is basically when you provide the audio file, it does the conversion into the JSON format. Okay, and we can see the timestamp around it for the JSON format which is available. And multilingual, which I explained, there are various languages it supports that. So it is documented, okay, what all languages are supported, okay, the speech translation, okay, and it is asynchronous job. So basically, when you upload the file, okay, it internally process it and then provides a response back. Okay, this is called asynchronous job internally. And there's a great feature is available. It is a diarization. Okay, so we talk more about this particular in this slide here. So what is about this feature is all about? So consider when we speak, okay, in the group, there are multiple people will be talk about during that point of time to identify who is the speaker around, okay, and what is the text, okay, which speaker is talked about, okay, to identify that this is the feature which is available. Ideally, this feature, when you're trying to generate the text out of the kind of media file, which we can choose this particular we can choose the option and generate the transcription. Okay, this is the kind of feature available here. So there are at the moment 2 to 16 speakers supported with the auto detect capability. So this is the feature available recently. It is launched here. And we could see this is the real-time transcription. Okay, currently it is a limited availability feature. It is launched, okay, and but Chicago region. So this is very much helpful, like when you are in a meeting, okay, and when you are like medical detection, like the real time when you're speaking, and you'd like to have a kind of transcription out of that. So then we can use this AI service feature about. Okay, yeah. So there are like various ways, like how we can use the AI services here. So there is like browser based. So we can go to the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and create a job. Okay, this is the console based kind of service available. And also like we can have the command line interfaces, and the REST APIs are available. So most of the times, like we'll try to integrate these services from the various other applications, like how I use the Visual Builder code to integrate through the REST APIs. Okay, so likewise we can use the all these possible ways. Okay, to have the transcription out here. Yeah. So here, what I'm trying to understand here, like I not only use the speech here. So then we have the generative AI capability also. So generative AI capability, it is understood like internally Oracle uses the Cohere model, okay, to have a better kind of okay, models which are working here. And this generative AI, like how we are like Christina is explained about, there are various capabilities, okay, in the generative AI. But at the moment, like in my use case, okay, I used okay, generative AI summarization. So the summarization, basically whatever the kind of model which I used, Cohere model, it is going to be summarized, okay, the kind of text which is transcribed here. So now what I'm trying to go here, like I'd like to show the kind of solution what I have built, okay, around here. So kind of solution here, okay. So when it comes to the Visual Builder application, so the user, okay, it will be used any audio file or like video file. Will be choosing and drag and drop to the application on the form, and this Visual Builder takes that form and gets stored into the object storage, and the file which is available from the object storage, it will be invoked and passed to the REST API for the speech service. And the speech service, it does the asynchronous job, and okay, and provides the transcription out of that. And then internally, it invokes again like generative AI summarization API to have the summarize the text, which is basically speech service. Okay, transcribe the text out here. Now, looking at the more detail about the code level, okay. So this is the Oracle Visual Builder low code application. Okay, so we could understand. Okay, so there is a kind of form which is used here. So there are like form and other button components. Okay, all these ideally used here. Okay, to build the application. And when it comes to the endpoint, like we have a different endpoints here. Okay, file which is audio file which is basically uploaded into the object storage. We have the endpoint, and also we have the endpoint for the speech API, and also the same way we have the generative AI summarization API here. So these all okay kind of flow which is used okay in the Visual Builder. Okay. Then let me go back to the application, okay, and the Visual Builder, and try to show how the application here is. Okay. So this is the application. Okay. So I have built using the form. Okay. We have the drag and drop okay component which are used here, and there is a okay kind of upload button. So this upload button is basically it is calls the it invokes the event. So this is basically button action it is used. Okay, so this action basically it invokes um, kind of REST API endpoint. But before invoking that okay object storage endpoint, okay, we are configured okay all the OCA required okay parameters over here. Okay, so that like it is authenticates from the visual builder it will be authenticated the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure object storage. So then only file which is uploaded, it gets stored into the OCA bucket. Okay, then the same way we have a okay, then we have the same way other okay action buttons. Okay, so it invokes the service API endpoint. This is another button action which is used. Okay, this is very much important. Okay, we could see since this is asynchronous job. Okay, we need to wait for a while. Okay, to get into the response gets from the service endpoint. Okay, and it goes to the various stages like okay when it is converting it to the JSON format. So likewise, we have a generative AI summarized endpoint as well, which is invoked in another button action here. And next, when we go to the endpoint service connections, okay, what I used here, the service connection ideally, there are multiple ways. Okay, so we can use here what I use the defined by the endpoint. The endpoint is basically the REST APIs. So the REST APIs are ideally, if I come here, okay, sorry. If I come here, like, there's a AI speech service endpoint. And this endpoint, like, we can have the right payload. So if you see the request and response, and we can do the test, okay, without running the application, we can have the endpoint, the payload of the speech API, what is required to pass and what is the file name, okay, how the file is get stored from the object storage. All this basically, okay, have the kind of right payload and send the request. So we can have the response here itself, like, so there is no need to go to the application test it here. So that is the advantage in the visual builder, okay, to test the service endpoint. The same way, so generative AI endpoint also it is configured here, and we can see the kind of payload, okay, which is basically the sample payload can be passed here and test it from the visual builder application here. So now let me run the actual application, so which is basically build okay from the visual builder application. Right, so this is the application which is running on the visual builder application. So what I am going to select, okay, there are multiple sample files are available. I'm just choosing the one of the call center, okay, sample, okay, which is recorded between the agent and the call center, okay, and upload to the object storage here. So for each and every action, okay, so we are going to provide the message out of that. So then once the file is uploaded into the object storage, then passing to the uh, speech service. So internally, if you could observe here, what is happening? First, service is accepted, and then it is it is in progress. So ideally, what is happening? Speech is internally converting the audio file into the text here. So currently, it is a audio file here, which is used here, but we can use the video file as well. Um, but depends on the size of the file, okay, and okay, kind of the format which I used here, the response, okay, it is quicker, okay, depends on the size of the file here. So that is how we could see the response. It is little delayed. And once the text is okay available here, next we can see the summarization of the text which is okay available here. Right. So generative AI, okay, it is provided a summarization, okay, whatever the text which is the speech is converted from okay audio to the text here. So this is what okay we could see the end-to-end application, how the visual builder application invokes the REST API endpoints of the AI speech service and the generative AI endpoints here. And mainly we could see the documentation around. Okay, if I go to the documentation, okay, so there are this is the available publicly. Okay, so if you would like to understand what is more about the speech, and if you would like to practice more about that, so it is information is available here. And there are limitations also mentioned here. Okay, what is media size and the duration. Okay, so if I look at here, so the maximum file size is the 2 GB. Okay, and the file duration is a maximum of 4 hours. Okay, so this is the kind of limitations. I mean, file limits we could see here when we're trying to do any transcription out of that. And and we can go to the Oracle OCI console as well, and okay, play around, okay, with any kind of jobs around. So if we have any sample audio files or video file, okay, we can just go and go to the, okay, no, AI speech, okay, and create a job out of that. Okay, so what happens here? We just need to provide the file which is okay, which is available, okay, in your bucket, storage bucket, and we can choose the options here. So the punctuations, okay, or if you would like to enable the diarization option here, okay, so then we could see how many speakers you, if you wanted to limit, okay, so these are all we can select, okay, from the option which is available here. So then we can create a job out of that. It will create a okay, a job out of that, and we can see the transcription, okay, from the job which is created. Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, this is what I would like to demonstrate.
Thank you, Prabhar. I think it's time for the last demo of today's call. Sunita, can you please share your screen? Are you okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Valida. So let me share my screen. Yeah. So we have many sessions now, and this is the last session. And hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about how AI vision service, generative AI service, and integration cloud service can be used to generate the description of an image. So in our day-to-day life, like we will be getting a lot of images, right? So that can be like it can come from any maybe any source, and we might not be knowing what is the description of that image. So here I'm bringing you on like how we can describe an image using AI's vision service and generative AI service integrated using the Oracle Integration Cloud. Okay, so let me talk about the use case. So as I mentioned, this use case is about describing an image. So if you get an image, you upload into an application and it will generate the details of that image. So this is how it is, like you upload an image, generate the description of an image. So this is the app about. So the solution overview. So let me talk about how we have created the solution for this. So we have, as I mentioned, we have used AI Vision Service, OCA Vision Service, Oracle Integration Cloud, Generative AI, and the application is developed using the Vision Builder Cloud Service. Yeah, so let me talk about little on the AI Vision Service. So what is AI Vision Service? As we are using this service to describe the component, and this is from where we are starting with. So we should know what is AI Vision Service. So you can see that AI Vision Service, Oracle OCI's AI Vision Service has different models. So there are pre-trained models and the custom models you can develop. Okay, so we'll talk about what are the pre-trained models available. So these are the list of pre-trained models available, which is object detection, image classification, text detection, and face detections. And these features has its own capabilities. So what is object detection? It detects the objects in an image. So definitely an image image consists of different objects, right? So it will detect an object in an image. So if you see on the right side, this cars, and it detects what are the the parts of this car. So if you wanted to understand what are the parts of this car, you can do that using the object detection. And image classification. So what is image classification is like in one particular image, there are different types of objects will be available. And based on the types of objects, we can classify that objects. And in this demo also, we have used the image classification to classify the image and then generate the text out of it. And we have the text detection and the face detection. Text detection is detecting the text from an image, and face detection, like, it will identify in an image there are faces, then it will identify that faces. And we have the custom model, which is basically for object detection and image classification. So for example, if you wanted to categorize your image based on your use cases, like, every customer will have their own use cases, it may not be satisfied with the pre-trained model, then you can build a custom model out of it, and then you can retrieve the data from that image. Okay, so this is about the image classification as I described. If you see this example, so this particular image has so many objects in it, right? So it has a train. If it's a train, motorcycle, wheel, etc., then it will be classified as a transportation vehicle. So suppose if that object has different material, so then it will be classified as material. So it is like a retail fashion. If there are many images like dress, rings, skirt, etc., then it will be classified as a retail fashion. So such way, this is the classification of the image. And as I said, the object detection, if it will detect each object from the picture. So see, this particular picture has a car. See, somewhere around some details are there in this, right? So these if you see these bounding boxes, right, they are all detected. So this car is detected, and behind the scene you can see another car that is also detected, and the side also you can see some objects are there. So that is also that level of confidence it is giving, or that level of clarity it is giving using the object detection. Okay. And coming to the text detection, it will detect the text inside a picture. Okay, say text inside an image. And there is a face detection. If face detection locates faces in the image, and it outputting loads the bounding box. Like you can see, the bounding boxes will tell you the faces of the image. And the use cases is basically hide a person's face by adding a blur to the image using face. If you don't want it to show that if a person's image, you can hide it. Photography, digital asset management, these are the main use cases which we can use for the face detection. Okay. So now the custom vision overview, as I mentioned, if the pre-trained model is not sufficient for your use case, then you can go for the custom pre-trained model. And the custom model. So the custom model, it is basically for the image classification. So you can create the custom model for that. And now in this demo, since we are talking about generative AI as well, because this is mainly describing the image. So what we are getting from the image is what we are sending to the generative AI, where the generative AI is generating the text, generating the description of that image. So here we are using the generative AI, and as you know, as in the previous sessions, everyone talked about the generative AI and what are the models, and also I'm not going into deep on that. So here we have different models associated with generative AI, and this particular demo, basically we are using the command model to generate the text. Okay. Now let me show you how the demo is, like what is the demo, how we are doing that demo. Okay, just let me go to my screen. So this is my application. So here we have, what I'm going to do is I will select an image. So there are different images available here. I'm selecting an image here. I'm opening an image here. And here I'm generating the summary of that image. See, the description of that image is a snow-covered forest with trees and undergrowth or covered in snow. The snow-capped trees stand close together in a dense crowd. See that the sunlight shines brightly through the sunlight is there in the picture, and it is clearly describing the sunlight shines brightly through the tree, creating a shadow on the snow ground, snow covered ground. So see the small minute things also it is capturing, and it is describing, saying like, see the shadow is on the floor, like, the shadow is on the ground, that is coming there. Among the trees, it is tall trees, thick trunk, and likely an old and mature oak. The scene evokes a sense of peace and tranquility, capturing the beauty of nature in winter. So this is a winter, it is classified as a winter image, and it is describing what is there inside the, what objects it is detected from this particular image. It is making a description out of this. Okay, so now going back to my session, going back to the presentation. So I'll talk about the architecture overview of this solution, how we have reached the solution, and what are the components, how it is integrated. And so this is like the application is developed using Visual Builder. The user can upload the image to this Visual Builder app. We are using the image classification feature, and the detected objects are transferred to the Oracle integration. So Oracle Integration Cloud is used to integrate between the Oracle AI Vision Service and Oracle AI Generative AI Service. So here, the Visual Builder, the picture is uploaded. It is sent to the OCI AI Vision Service. It is capturing, it is using the image classification service and object detection service to detect all the objects in that, and sending that image to the a generative AI service. In generative AI service, along with the objects, it will create a prompt. A prompt is very much important for a generative AI. A beautiful prompt is created for this, and based on these prompt and the keywords which is passed, keywords which I mean is the object, the detected object labels what is passed, it will generate an object, it will generate the description. So basically this is the flow. If you see this, that's how we are generating. It is uploading, as I described. It is the user can upload an image here, then the image is moved to the image details. It will go to the OCI Vision Service. The OCI Vision Service will read this image and extract the objects out of it, and then Oracle Integration Cloud, again, this particular keywords are sent to the generative AI service, and we are using the Cohere command service to generate the text for that. Okay. Yeah, so as mentioned, so this is the AI Vision app, and these are the connection properties. Let me show you that. So coming to the integration service. So here we have the service console. So here we will go to the so here we will go to the Visual Builder service. We can open the application here. So we can see that this application is created in the Visual Builder, Visual Builder with the file picker form and the generate summary and the text the text to display here. So and when you click on this file picker component, it will open the event, the file picker select event will be invoked, select chain will be invoked with all the flows. Look here, it will say like, it can call, this is calling the image detail service, which is available here. We have configured the image detail service here. So get image detail service. What does this do is like, it is integrated with Oracle Integration Cloud, and Integration Cloud is calling the AI service. Okay, so this is the Integration Cloud call, and we have the generate summary. So this is calling the, so this will call the, again, it is calling the Integration Cloud, where we are calling the Generative AI service. Okay, so now coming back to the Vision service, like, let me show you how the Vision service works. So yeah, so this is the Vision service. If you see, right, like the same image I have uploaded here. So if you see the results, you can see the forest, vegetation, snow, trunk, like this, different details are extracted as a keywords. And if you see the response, is a JSON response, it will say like all the objects inside this image is captured. Okay, all the images are captured, and it says like it's a vegetation, it's different classes, it will classify into different it will give different classification. So it's a forest, so likewise grove, nature, etc. The tree, all these details are captured. So based on that, we are calling the image classification. So this, based on this payload, is what we are extracting the respective keywords for this image, and then we are sending this to the generative AI service. Okay. And you can upload any image, and you can see that like I have uploaded another image for this. Like, we can go to the image details and we can pull out the URL, and we'll see like what is the response this particular image is giving. Okay. So I'm just uploading this image instead of this image, and we'll see like how. See, this is a, see it, explosion, firefighter, soldier, gun. See, this particular vision service is detecting all these objects, and again it is generating the labels from that object, right? From that picture, right? So this particular service also, this particular image, if you pass to our vision service, what we will see, like, it will again, based on the keywords which is captured, it will generate the summary for that particular image. Okay. So it will capture something like, it will see like what, see, a soldier is full military gear, armed with a gun stand. So these are like, the different type of the different type of images we can use to which AI service can use along with the generative AI service will give you the description of that image or the summary of that image. Okay, so let me go to the integration also. See, like, how the integration part is working. So we have the integration here. So in the REST vision service, this is where I'm calling the AI vision service. So in the AI vision service, you see, I'm calling the vision service. Okay, so here I'm calling the vision service, and if you go to the next, yeah, see this we have the the request payload like this, and we have the the response also. The response will come like the response will be coming like this. So all this response will be passed to the generative AI service. So we'll see how the generative AI services also looks like. So the generative AI, the image description generation, here we are calling the generative AI service. So the generative AI service is called. So here we have, again, we have the request and response. So we are mapping the request and response. We are receiving the request. We are receiving the request, and the response is also generated here. So the response is also generated here, and yeah. So, and there is a mapping here. So in this mapper we are giving, we can see that different keywords will be coming, right? So the what keywords which are passing from the AI service, what response we are getting from the AI service is passed to the pass to the prompt. So we are giving the expression for prompt. Here we are giving along with the keywords, we are giving a prompt also to generate the images. Okay. So now I'm going back to my presentation. Yeah. So this is what is explained right now. So whatever we saw in the integration, first we call the AI vision service. And the response what we generated, that response is passed to the generative AI service, and the generative AI beautifully give a description of that image based on the keywords what we have passed. Okay, and you can see that like this details of this is available in our GitHub along with the code. You can use that as well. Okay, and for there we have an AI Solutions Hub where we have all the demos, whatever we are demonstrating is available. You can check that as well. That's about it. Thank you.
Okay, so let's allow Tom to provide the answer to a question, and then we can just close the call. Thank you, team, for doing such a great demos and presentations today. We hope that you enjoyed this session, um, and we hope to have you back soon at Cloud Coaching. For all our customers, we would like to thank you all for staying with us until the end, and we hope to see you soon again. With that, I would like to close the call. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye bye.